Shirley Strawberry might need to write herself one of those strawberry letters because she is just making messy moves. Now, if you didn't already know, some tapes got leaked where Shirley could be heard talking smack on none other than Miss Marjorie Harvey. And well, let's say that Steve did not let this slide and he went off on Shirley for bad-mouthing his wife. This comes after Shirley got canceled for sticking with her criminal husband, and it looks like she just can't seem to catch a break. Is Shirley also about to lose her job? Y'all, if you thought that the Shirley Strawberry situation couldn't possibly get any wilder, well, you might want to take a seat because the situation just got more insane. For the past couple of months, Shirley has found herself on the bad after her husband, Ernesto Williams, was arrested on a couple of horrifying charges that range from fraud, possession of a firearm, all the way to possession of CP. And trust, Shirley was really playing the supportive wife to the T because she was and is still standing by him no matter what. I mean, she literally wrote a letter to the judge where she asked for leniency and for him to be released to go home with her. Several sources even reported that they heard her begging him to run away with her so they could allegedly hide him in one of Steve Harvey's properties in Dubai. This got Steve dragged hard because people accused him of trying to harbor a fugitive. However, the situation got downright messy last week when a couple of prison phone call recordings between Shirley and Ernesto were released. The calls all took place last year, but they only got released recently and they made Shirley look even worse. In the calls, she reassured Ernesto that she was going to stick by him through thick and thin no matter what. But the interesting part that really caught people's attention was when she started talking about Steve and Marjorie. According to her, Steve had her stay in his house after the scandal first broke last year because he was trying to be a supportive friend and protect her from the backlash in the media. But instead of being grateful to Steve for having her back, she mocked him for being out of shape and getting winded when he was walking up the stairs.
He got a big, gigantic gym, like huge, with all kinds of state-of-the-art equipment. I mean, I'm not working out, but at least I'm walking. I wasn't winded going up those stairs, I'll tell you that. He was breathing like,
for real?
yes.
Child, she obviously never learned about how you should never bite the finger that feeds you. And then she accused Marjorie of looking down on her and treating her like the help.
Put us as the help, you know?
You did tell me that. That's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. And that's, you know, it is what it is.
She claimed that Marjorie went out of her way to avoid her and she rarely saw her while she stayed in the Harvey home. She also painted an image of Marjorie as a rich, spoiled housewife who did nothing but get massages all day and spend her husband's money. Like I said, the audio got released last week and the timing couldn't have been worse for Steve and Marjorie. The leaks happened when Marjorie and Steve were also catching a lot of head for Marjorie's alleged affair with Steve's bodyguard. There were people talking about her past history with some super sketchy men and all that. There were also conversations about how Marjorie was only using Steve for his money and she was never that into him. So when Shirley's audio leaked, it just added more fuel to the fire and got Marjorie dragged even more. Steve finally decided to address the situation because if there is one thing that Steve doesn't joke with, it's Marjorie. He is obsessed with her and has never been afraid to deny it. He did come out to deny the cheating allegations, but he is now taking things a bit further and addressing the Shirley audios. Not only did he address it, but he also took his anger out on Shirley and slammed her for trying to talk bad about Marjorie. He and Shirley addressed the situation on the Steve Harvey Morning Show, and child, there was a lot to say. Shirley started off by saying that Ernesto is still in jail and she has finally made up her mind to leave him and file for divorce.
Steve, I'm gonna just start by saying that my estranged husband is in jail. He's been in jail for over a year, since about right after the 4th of July of 2022.
So Ernesto has been in jail for more than a year now, and it looks like Shirley has finally woken up and started doing the right thing. She is no longer sticking by Ernesto and has left him to face the consequences of his actions alone. It's obvious that Ernesto is on his way down and she needed to dump him or he would take her down with him because, let's be real, it's actually affecting her career. She is literally a relationship guru, and for her to be with a man like Ernesto is just not a good look. look. The nature of his crimes are just so horrific that there was no way she could have remained afloat if she hadn't cut him off. So good for her for making the right choice. She also addressed her comments about Steve being out of shape, as well as her comments about Marjorie and how Marjorie treated her badly like the help.
Some phone calls from last year between he and I were leaked. And on those calls, you hear me saying you were winded going up the stairs at your home. And Marjorie looks at us as the help. And right here and now, I want to apologize to you and Marjorie for what I said. As much as I wish I could, I can't take it back. I can't. I said it, and I want to apologize. It was definitely not me trying to add to what you and Marjorie already have going on in your lives.
Now, she did the smart thing by apologizing to Steve on air, but fans still feel like she still didn't take responsibility for her words. Instead of accepting what she did was wrong, she decided to blame fans and blogs for pushing the audio and blowing it up.
But the fact that these tapes were released, it does seem like everyone is coming to you, coming for you, I should say, at this time, including me. But in reality, the tapes have nothing to do with what you and Marjorie have going on. It was just me running my mouth in a private conversation, or what I thought was a private conversation. And again, I apologize. I feel terrible. I make no excuses. I said what I said, and there's no denying it.
But as fans have pointed out, there would be nothing to blow up if she hadn't been running her mouth about Steve and Marjorie in the first place. Plus, people believe that her words show how she really feels about Steve and Marjorie, and she doesn't really like them as much as she acts like she does. Anywho, she also revealed that the reason she has kept silent on this drama so far is that it has been difficult for her to talk about it.
Hard for me to bring this particular thing up. I was just so embarrassed, and humiliated, and I just felt like a fool. I felt so stupid, and I couldn't. It's not that I didn't want to talk about it. I just couldn't find the words, and that's the honest to God's truth.
Honestly, it's easy to see how and why she would feel that way, because she has been getting a lot of hate from the internet. She has been dragged and mocked for being an apologist and sticking with a man who had committed grievous crimes. So yeah, I get why she would want to run away and hide from all of that. Now, Steve understood her situation, but he was still hella mad at her for her comments about Marjorie, because according to him, her comments made things super ugly for Marjorie.
I'm coming with now is because it's been so ugly for my wife, man. And see, this is what I've never done before. It's been so ugly for my wife. And I've stood there trying not to say nothing, but I'm not a blog.
Steve doesn't play about Marjorie because he wasn't even bothered about Shirley's comments about him and how he was out of shape. His only concern was Marjorie, and he revealed that the messy situation only drove him and Marjorie closer.
Two-handed circle. Thank you for doing that. And you're not gonna split us up, and we're not going nowhere, and she is none of what you said she is, and she the best chick I know. Now I'm defending her, and you can feel how you want to feel about that. That's the God in me.
But at the end of the day, Steve decided to be the bigger person and accept Shirley's apology.
You're our family, all is forgiven. We coming to work, Tommy.
One more thing real important, Shirley.
They will continue to work together and having a working relationship, but I think we can all agree that things are never going to be the same between them after this, because he is always going to remember the things she said about him and his wife. Even though he claims to have forgiven her, it's going to be pretty difficult for him to let go and forget the things she said about him and Marjorie. Fans have different opinions about this, and they said, I gained respect for Steve after this. It takes a big person to extend a little grace to someone who has hurt you intentionally or unintentionally, especially when you don't have to. I've seen a lot of famous people ego trip and just fire the person after something like this. And Shirley had the right to feel the way she felt and say how she felt. She may have felt that Marjorie looked at her that way at that time. We don't get to tell people how they should feel. I commend her for even getting on air and apologizing. Now, there are even some people who believe that Marjorie made Steve force Shirley to apologize, saying, Marjorie strikes me as the type of woman who is behind Steve giving him hell and telling him he has to make her apologize publicly. This This is about ego, as this woman's life is in such a state behind the scenes. She didn't need to be put in a position to be groveling in public on top of what she is already going through. But do you guys believe that Marjorie is behind this, or do you think that Steve is acting out of his free will? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, then check out this next video.